I had to make some some beans and that's all good.
That's
Some
right.
tortillas. But yeah, I wanted to say thank you for making the effort and coming on here and
Yeah. That's brilliant.
being part of this container is a word that we use. Yeah, it's an interesting word. But to come on here and to talk to everyone, and people are really interested to learn about ways in which we can, you know, as let's say white Australians, we can connect more to country. Maybe, you know, that's kind of like the general topic of this evening, like how can we connect more into country? But maybe if you want to start by, you know, letting everyone know like about yourself, where you come from, who you are, and yeah, we can go from there.
Yeah. That's well. Hang on. Gotta have a little bit more hot chocolate. My name's Wiruungga Dunggiirr, so I'm Mr. Koala, and totems are so important to people, and also it's like the land. And I come from down Namba Heads, Bucka country, and my tribe is Gumbaynggar and Namba, Yagal, Bunjalung, Dungari and Beelpai and the Ewing tribes from South Coast. This is all my bloodlines from my grandfathers and grandmothers. So when that first boat was coming in, our mob was heading up north. And then that's how everything started to flow into place. But and then when I was created and on near the ocean and in around the area around Nambucca and place called Barrable, there was a big mission there. And in that mission, that's where I grew up. And by growing up, being strong, and I had so many grandfathers and grandmothers and uncles and aunties on the mission at that time was teaching us culture, was teaching our dreaming to us. Because all my grandfathers was all initiated tribal men, and all the grandmothers were exactly the same. And so we grew up in a circle of life. I call it the circle of life, where they would teach you so much, and then they had a one-on-one with you also to explain to you about nature, how powerful it is out there. So me, I listened, I learned by the grannies teaching us about hunting and gathering. And the grandfathers and the uncles, and the father would teach us hunting. So there's a big difference there. So, and then by the time I got to 8-year-old, the grandfathers, there was 4 grandfathers or 5 grandfathers. They were responsible for 4 boys each. Took us to the mountains and dropped us out there. And no packed lunch, no blankets, nothing. You had to, this is part of your ceremony, the connection to the nature, to the wildlife, to the insects, to the rocks, to the mountain, to the trees. And that's how I learned much by listening. And because when grandfather put us there, he didn't put us together. He separated us because he knew that we're going to run amok. So that we got put, one got put near the river, one got put near a rock cliff, one in a cave, and me, I went up a tree. But that's why I become the koala. That was my shelter for a week, my home for a week, my bed, sleeping place. So I was connected to that gum tree, and I loved it up there. So I would go down, hunt for berries and ferns and grass, what I can eat. Because my great granny and my mother and grandmothers would teach you about the nature, what you can and what you can't eat. So that was important to me by listening. If I didn't listen, I'd be starving. And no good at crying for your grandmother or your mother because they're not there. They're about 10 k's away from you. In them days with miles, not k's. Big difference. But we walked. There were no cars for us. We walked. So important. It got me better in who I was. So by listening to them, I come a long way. Now I'm connected to them through my through the spirit world, and that's what they there anytime I want them to be there. I use my bull roarer, the spin. That's what's connect me to the dreaming of the spirit world. And other tribes, that they don't like you doing that because they get very scared about it. And I said, well, that's all right. You stay in your little zone and I'll do what I've got to do. This is how I got brought up, growing up, and I will share it. And it's one of my toys when I travel around the world, so, and I love it as much as I can.
When you're talking about going up a tree,
Yeah.
so it's a part of the initiation. What's the context of like the initiation? I mean, and why are you chosen to go up a tree?
Well, that's where my grandfather put me.
Yeah.
So I become the koala. That was my totem.
Mm-hmm.
So down at the little running stream,
Mm-hmm.
brother there, he become turtle. So that was his main totem. Another brother up on the cliff edge, he become the goanna. The one in the cave become the dingo. So that were their totems. And that's part of the first initiations before you go any further than that. So it was just testing us how we can cope in the bush without mum, a blanket.
Yeah.
Everything was laid. It's there for you. The connection to that. All you got to do is talk. Listen to the birds where they go to.
Mm-hmm.
Turtle, he has all the water he wants. He can drink as much as he wants. He can swim and lay back. But he was cold in the night.
Mm-hmm.
Because none of us learned how to do a fire. That's the next step up, And then the other brother laid on the rock. The rock was hot. It was like a oven for him, He became the goanna. Very, and he looked like a goanna too. Long, skinny, And then the brother boy in the cave, he adapted to the darkness. His eyes go back become the dingo himself. And me, I had to learn how to climb a tree and stay up there without falling out, You got to sleep up there. I didn't sleep on the ground. I slept up there. And I slept on the way the tree was, a forky tree, like that, up the top. Put my legs that way, and I leant back. I just went to sleep. And like I said, you can't sing out to your mother, Mom, come and help me. And the grandfather, when they drop you off, they would go to a spot where they can, in the or direction where you are. They hint that area, and they would listen, and they'd have their little talk and fire. So, but you can't hear them; they can hear you. So I'm lucky, you know. But this is what I like sharing. So all the stories like that, I can paint that. That's very important. You paint it, you can write it. Because me, I'm not a writer, I'm an artist. So I paint, and I also can do the dance to it, to that story. So I'm a creator in that way. And that was to keep the dreaming alive, the dream time. The dream time is from the beginning of time. There was no time. That's why I don't wear a watch. My phone's in the car, so I don't have to hear it ringing. So, yeah. But I'm strong, and I like to share as much as I can.
Mm.
That's why I taught my sons, taught my daughters how to dance. So they're all dancers. You ask them to tell a Dreamtime story, they can't tell a story. They can only dance it or they can paint it. See, I'm just going to show you something. When I was a small child, our grandmothers would teach us, and grandfather would say, see that top of that finger? You only allow to teach to there. So we went from the finger to the end, and from there to the wrist, and from there to the elbow. Then we can think we're going to trust this person to our knowledge and wisdom. And then we went to the shoulder, not there. So that's what you teach them to there so far, until you get to know the person really good. And you teach them from your gali to your Gina, from your head to your toes. Then you got confidence, you got respect. So this is how I like it. But also I taught how to read and feel the energy between brothers, how we connect. Because this is how you learn and listen. So when I go out bush first time, I sit near the biggest tree I can find. And the heartbeat of that tree is coming through to me here. I can listen, and I ask for permission to go out bush. Yeah. And one of my grandfather used to tell me to carry a switchy stick. And he said, that little switchy stick, anybody would just try to jump into you through spirit world, you flick them away and you touch them and they won't come back. So these are little things that we was taught.
What's a switchy stick?
It's a stick of a oak tree or a willow tree.
Yeah.
The one you get eyed with. Yeah, they're ones. Yeah, because they can click, make sound. So yeah, this is things like this. You have to pay attention and not walk on sacred site or significant site, because it's like today. It's so powerful. See your shadow in the desert. You're not allowed to walk on any elders' shadows. They can catch you and make you sick inside. By walking around the person and the shadow, you show them respect. Yeah. And you show a lot of elders and young people, you teach them that, not to do that. Not even allow. My daughters used to comb their hair and drop the hair on the ground. That's a no-no. The old people can send a bird in, pick up your hair, and he twitch it around, and he would sing you for miles and miles away. He would bring you back to him.
Mm.
Because I say this to my daughters, because he's looking for a wife. Yeah?
Mm.
But he's a sneaky one, see? So all at Mara, this is Mara, we finish combing, it's all in a bundle, it goes into the fire.
Mm.
Bang. It's common sense.
Mm.
So this is what we was taught.
So there's like there's a responsibility that you have to have. I guess a lot of people want to get out and connect to nature and be in nature, and I think maybe the first thing people need to understand is like there's law. Like they're stepping into the bush, but there's law and there's responsibility when we do that.
Yeah, yeah. And you must have the respect to that part of the country or that land where you're going to. And because it can catch you because you don't know what you're treading on. You go into the bush, you talk to the trees, because the trees, in my way, what I was told, the trees are the first children on Mother Earth. We're the next. We come later. Trees are here so we can breathe. Yeah, it makes sense to all of us. And then you've got to follow the tree lines, and the trees. They all talk. Like the great spirit of the wind, he speaks to the trees, and then the trees speak to the rocks and the mountain. They're all connected. Oh, you've got to be connected into that flow, like a rippling stream from a little tiny waterfall runs into the gully into a little creek, and then that runs into the main river, and then the main river runs into the ocean.
Hmm.
Yeah, so you've got to show all your respect to the water, to the fire, anything, insects. Because insects will tell you when it's time for the fish coming in fresh water and in the ocean. Insects will tell you you can't go that way, you've got to go this way.
Mm.
And even dragonflies, they tell me, they stop me like that. No, you can't go that way, you've got to go this way. So I respect, and when I travel with in somebody else's country, I get permission.
Mm.
It's very important to get permission in somebody else's country, that you're not gonna, I say, carry a hitchhiker on your shoulder. It doesn't matter what country it is in the world, And if you see when I was in Guatemala last year, I respected the Mayan people. I said I like this, respect the local people, and I also want to acknowledge my countrymen. And everybody looking the way I was looking. But when I looked over this way, there was 15 great big gum trees.
Mm.
And I went, wow, thank you
Mm.
for standing with me, my ancestors. The little things like that, it flows through you. And that's why I got respect for that. Yeah.
When you talk about asking permission, is that from local, tribal groups or elders, or is that from spirits or from old people?
You can ask, yeah. Well, you got the spirits,
Yeah.
you got the land,
Yeah.
and you got the elders in different tribal countries. But it's to me, it's even when I go on somebody else's country and I want to dance, I can't dance. I've got to ask permission because their dance is different to mine.
Yeah.
My dreaming stories are different to theirs. We are, there used to be over 800 different dialects of languages. Now I think they cut down to about 300 or 400. That's it. They got lost or they got wasted. But this is why people keeping the language alive and keeping yourself alive, and to share your knowledge, your wisdom, and also the stories. Tell the stories of the frogs, or tell the story of the crow. How each one of them break law, what they're doing. So it's the same thing in that sense. So there's so much to learn. You learn every day. It doesn't stop. You sit back on a chair and you look out the bush and go, wow, I will go up there soon. And a lot of people say, you're a tree hugger. I think I'd rather cuddle up to a tree because I know it's going to protect me in the bush, And it's things like that I respect. I just want to tell you a little story. When I was 18, 19-year-old, I said to my cousin, we hitchhiked to Sydney. And I said, don't worry about a bed, we got a bed. And he goes, okay, where are we going to sleep tonight? I said, I'll show you when we get to Newcastle. So in Newcastle, going towards Newcastle, there is a cemetery. And we pulled out a car up on the other side of the road, and I said, we got our beds over the road. And the cousin come over and he said, there's nothing here. There's only graves. I said, mate, this is where you're going to get the best sleep tonight. Nobody's going to bother you. But he was so scared. He wouldn't sleep there. He slept in a phone box. I said, good luck. See you tomorrow. But the spirit ancestors, I don't know anybody there, but they know me. I had the best sleep. I slept between the graves, and yeah. And I did it all the time when I hitchhiked. I wouldn't hitchhike now, I've got a car, so I'm right. Yeah.
What, going back to like connecting or asking permission.
Yeah.
Just say for everyone here in the group, if they're going into the bush here, I know people on the sunny coast, they're going up, out to Balumba Creek, something like that.
Yeah.
Is there a way that they can ask permission to go onto that land, or is there a way that they can ask permission to live on this land? If they're going to, at times it's difficult to connect in with local Indigenous elders.
That's right. Yeah.
They're pretty busy.
Yeah.
Is there ways that people can establish a relationship themselves with the land?
Connect. Yeah, you've got to connect yourself to the land, and then that land respect you. That they know that you're not going to burn the forest down. You're not going to rip all the trees out and wood chip them. That's the respect you're going to get. And to live there, not only to live there, go out bush. So when I go to Balumba Creek, I go to the tea tree walk, I think it's called. And there's the grandmother tree. And that's the first one you meet, and you go in there and you cuddle that tree, and you'll feel it, and you'll get all the respect you get. And then you walk down to the great grandmother. She's down further in the bush. You can go down in there and you sit with there too, and you'll feel the vibrations. You know, lots of my friends I just take there and show the tree because I'm proud of that tree. And that 2 trees is a tree of life.
Mm.
We call Motorbike. And the tree of life is so good to you. You know, and if you go out in the bush and get lost, you're not really lost. You got to ask to talk to the animals and anything down there and say, well, I'm going to surrender and show me the path back. You wouldn't think so, eh? But it's there. And believing in yourself, yeah, and believing in the nature. You know, like my bird, I got to feed him Weet-Bix every morning with a spoon. You know, he comes up there and he wants some food. So, okay, Namba, here. You had your breakfast, now go. I talk to him like that. He's a wild bird. And that's what you got to do. You know, the trees, hug the trees. You're not a hugger.
Mm.
You're somebody who cares about the environment and about Mimi, the Mother Earth. You're caring about it. And that's, yeah, this is probably why I sit alone and do things and work with my spirit world. I do a lot of smoking, like smudging and in and out the bus and around the place, land. And night times I make a big smoke. So I'd get all the lands. I'm on one side of the hill. Samoko's on the other side making big smoke. And I don't know what the neighbours think about us, but who cares? We're cleansing the land.
Mm.
We're not burning the forest down, we're just burning the leaves. I know they make good mulch, but we got too much mulch.
Mm.
You know. So yeah.
Is there like in traditions I've studied, there's you give an offering of like tobacco to enter, or if you take something from, just say you go and you need some, some stones for a sweat lodge or some poles for a teepee or something like that, you give tobacco an offering. Yeah.
Well, we don't do tobacco, but
Yeah.
we do the respect part of thanking the tree that we're going to take. It's all right for you and I connect. So I need this. I don't need it, but can I have you?
Mm.
Before you cut the branch off, ask permission.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because there is so much out there to land of just your backyard. There's so much out there to learn about your front yard. You know, and these are the things that you got to learn from your ancestors and from the dreaming. You know, the connection between you and the snake. Is the snake going to bite me or not? Is the branch on the tree up there going to fall on my head or not? You know, so that's what I say about the magpie. You take respect to him and care for him. Magpie's got a habit of darting down and taking a bit of hair off your head. Like that, then you end up bally, no hair. So, yeah, but you have them beside you, not away from you, you know? So the tree's the same.
Mm.
And I love the bush. I love painting it like that. And even when I go and do I've got to go and get 22, pieces of stringy bark yet. And I've got to go and ask permission from that tree. Can I get 2 pieces off each tree?
Mm-hmm.
You know, and I will sit back onto it
Mm-hmm.
and through the mind, and I will talk to it. Say, is it all right for me to take 2 pieces of bark off your tree, off this here? and show me something, yes or no,
Mhm.
Yeah. So if a branch fall, it's no. The wind blow and the trees wobbling like this, and that's a yes. But I just don't go out there with a chainsaw or a machete and chop into it.
Mhm.
I've got to look at that respect
Mm.
of the tree, and yeah, just got to have the respect. Even entering a cave, you don't know what's in there.
Mm.
You got to ask permission. Whatever's in there, can we connect? Or you send your ancestors in there, make sure it's safety. And this is where the little totems come. And they tell you, they fly around you and tell you it was good or not to go in there.
Mhm.
And people just run in there blind. And then they wonder why they get sick.
Mm.
And then you got to find somebody in the tribe to fix you.
Mm.
Even I'm wary about it, but I tell my grandkids the same thing. Do not do that. You come and see me first. And they say, oh, well, you're a long way from me. How can I get in touch with you? Your mother got my phone number. Ring me.
Mhm.
Well, I said to people, just ring me up. Here's my number. And it's not too hard to respect the bush because Australia is a big country.
Mm.
And in the dream time, there's a lot of stuff that in, like, you could say, black magic still here today. Australia is sacred.
Mm.
And, really, really important place to be. And if you don't respect it, it's going to bite you in the bum.
Mm.
Simple as that. Wherever you go,
What about can we talk a little bit about fire story or something, a teaching around the fire like that you've received?
Yeah. Fire. Well, in the fire is the first creation of in fire in the stories I hear from children's stories, is when the crow broke law, who stole the fire out of this sacred mountain. And most of those birds that went up there with him, they lost all their rainbow colours. And then the Great Spirit made them black or white or grey, like the ashes. So, but you see the ibis today in black. There's a black one and a white one. But if you see the ibis in a sunny day, you'll see all the rainbow colours on him.
Mm.
So fire took a big part in ceremonies and rituals. And we also used to use it to burn all of our medicines and lay on the bark and to let the fumes come up on us, So little things like that is good. And also burning off for the animals to come back the following year, a certain time in the winter, not the summer. You're going to roast yourself like a let's say lobster. So fire is everything. And when I make a fire at night time, I put a bowl of water right beside it because they go together like yin and yang. Yeah, I'm using them words, but fire is important because fire, water can put out fire
Mm.
like that. But lots of ceremonies. We had sat around fires at night time, tell the stories of the dream time. So we have to have not only the firelight, we also had the moonlight connecting also from the sunlight hit the moon to us to see where we were walking, and the fire to keep us warm and tell us stories. And we listened because the grandfathers are sitting there and the grandmothers are sitting there telling all these stories, and we just got to listen and respect. We respect what they tell us. And there's no gibberish or no bullshit because it didn't happen like that. We just listen and respect the fire, because fire will burn you. And you know who can help the fire burn you? It's the spirit of the wind. You get too close to the fire and you got the wrong clothes on, that spirit of the wind, he can say, fire, they get too close and they burn you. So they work in that way, you know. So you got to be careful. The fire is important for food, whatever, the way you want to do it, you know. And on the mountains, I see when I go up, used to search for yams on a rock cliff like that and like this. So you got the rock cliff out like that, big rock, but you got a overhang. And then if it's raining from that side, from the north, you would go to the south and make your fires and cook your yams or whatever. And if it was coming from the south, you would go that side and do the same. And just use the common sense, really, of your knowledge. And wherever there's fire, you'll tell by the bed of the rocks. It's already burnt. So they call it black rocks. And wherever they're from that, there's always 2 or 3 big caves not far up the hill. And then there's shelter, more shelter. I thought that was very clever in a way, that they're using these overhangs to stay out of the weather. But when that storm comes from the north, you get on that other side, it's good because that's a bad storm coming from the north. You know, in Queensland, here's cyclone. But yeah, and they have fire, big fire going for the little guardians, for anybody. And then after that big meal, they head up to the top to the caves.
What's something you could share about like sacred sites, like, and if you're out in the bush or you just stumble across something, or like birthing pools, or what's something that people should know to respect those kind of places?
Well, first, when you go into a sacred site, there's always the guardian. And the guardian will let you know if you can come there. They will block you. I went to in my tribal area, I went to a birthing hole. Now going up there to see this waterfall, and this is the summer birthing hole. Not far away up in the mountain, there's 2 big caves, and that's the winter birthing place. So they're not far from one another. And then I met this biggest snake I ever seen in my life. Now, it probably wasn't real. It was a spirit. But I didn't want this fellow to get bit, so I grabbed him and threw him this way. We're going that way, mate. We're not going that way. I'm not taking that chance. But when I went to the birthing place, I was born over and over and over with different mums. I was just continuing. And I could see the women, the old grannies or aunties or whatever, in the water. catching those babies like that, and the waterfalls coming down. I painted this picture, what I saw. And I didn't take a photo of it, but the photo was there. So I painted it. And I've still got it. So anytime you're up that way next time, I'll pull it out and show it to you. So you'll see it. But that's the respect I've got. And I said to the owner of the property, do not tell anybody about this sacred place. Because now he's seen you, that snake seen you, that spirit, he will come torment you. And he said, oh, like that. And I think about 2 years later, he sold out. And now he's a taxi driver. So, he didn't want to didn't want to be scared anymore, So he said, I'm not taking that chance. I'm out of here. Beautiful place.
Where was this?
Down Amon country.
Yeah.
Down in the Namba Valley. And there's not only one of those beautiful sites, there's a lot. You got the fish traps around the headlands. You got the fish traps in the rivers. You got the boar rings where the tribal people go and do the ceremonies, initiations. I paint these, and all of our boar rings are lined up with the planets. It took a long time to line these up. Every so often, and they line them up. But the men went one way, like this, and the women were this way. So, not far from one another, but the woman would go on the men's side, and the men would go on that side. And there was that men's business, women's business, respect, like that. And then there was a place where they could come together and bring their children together there and do the ceremonies. So there's so much to learn.
What's that? Like men's business and women's business, right? So, like in society right now, there's a lot of mixing and kind of changing things. But like
that's how I'm dreaming.
Yeah.
This is a new dreaming now.
Yeah.
Is where we all kind of come together and share the knowledge and wisdom to one another. Like that. Make sure when you do it, that people are going to respect not only the stories, they got to respect country. Yeah. And because, like I said, everything's sacred. And it will come back and bite you.
But there's still women's business, right?
Still going.
Men's business.
Yeah, still going. And then that group come together and share stuff together.
But what's the cultural significance of that? I'm trying to get to, like, in society, what I see right now is people trying to like blend things in and make things just like one organism, so to speak. Like, what's the importance of having a separation at times of men and women?
Well, in say the women first, or the man first, whatever, doesn't matter. But in men's business, we got to talk. We talk about the land. We're going to talk about family. We're going to talk about our totems and how to put it out there. And then the women are doing their stuff also with their ceremonies and rules that they want to push through with the young girls coming up in age. The men will do the same about the boys. Which ceremony we're going to do with these boys and how long it's going to take. Is it going to take 1 week, 1 month, or 3 months? This is the stuff they got to go through and talk to them about. And the women will do the same with the young girls. And this is why I don't step into that line, because I don't know too much about women. I know they're beautiful and I respect them and I understand them. Even the men, I do the same. I respect them. But then you can get somebody who's not going to follow the protocol of the woman or the man.
Mm.
They will go out there and create their own stories. This is why the women and the men come back together to talk about country. And when there's a man or a woman comes from other tribes, they sit and they listen, because these women here, traditional women of this land here, and the traditional men of this land, they will teach their wives, they will teach their husbands and their children about country here. And like that's why you got to get permission when you go to other tribes.
Mm-hmm.
The same thing, you just can't run in there and take over. Same thing. After a while, it blends, and then you can do it because the old people got respect for you.
Mm.
They understand you, where you're coming from, and yeah, that girl there, that boy there, he all he's been doing culture. So we need to upgrade him,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, and welcome him. Respect.
How has that helped you to be the person you are today? Like to go through, yeah, for like you think about like the younger generations, like how important is it that we guide these young, boys and girls through some form of initiation or,
Yeah.
you know, men or woman's business?
Initiations and ceremonies are still happening in Australia.
Mm-hmm.
It didn't die. On the East Coast, it died,
Mm-hmm.
but now we call it the new dreaming, that we want to keep it alive. And we don't want to take the phones away from the youth.
Mm-hmm.
We want them to use that to record and of sacred areas, and then recognize this sacred tree, this rock formation, what's the meaning behind it. I don't want to take it away from my grannies.
Mm-hmm.
I want them to use it because they got the skills. We got the skills of the land.
Mm-hmm.
We can work together as a young people, and how to explain to them we work together. So, and then you teach them your rituals and ceremonies, your dance, your dreaming stories, what was handed down to you generations after generation. See, I'm a person who I listen to the story of my grandfather.
Mm-hmm.
He's talking in language. I don't understand the language, but then I've got somebody else can translate that to me. And then I learn with dance the story through that, or do a painting of that.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I want the younger generation to record the stories. Don't get it wrong. Get it as close as you can. That story that when someone pull you up, said, you said that, you said this, you said that. Oh, okay. I lost a bit of story in between
Mm-hmm.
because I was paying attention somewhere else.
Mm-hmm.
You got to pay attention fully on what you're doing. Uh, life.
Mm-hmm.
It's good. I love it. I love life, and I will share as much as I can. And that's why I sit down and I paint as much as I can.
Mm-hmm.
And my sister is sick today. Well, I told them, and I just come back from there, and I told her there's some medicine there for your toxins in your body to pull it out. So it's there growing, and you got to get it, and you take 6 leaves, boil it up, and then drink it. Not hot, warm. She said, "Yes, my brother, thank you."
Mm-hmm.
I said, "You got it growing in your garden, but after the hailstorm went through it, she chopped it all up. Now it looked like a salad." Yeah, so there's so much to
You're talking about life, and you've got a few years on everyone here in this Zoom call at the moment. What's like a word of advice that you could offer people, like when they're going through like a difficult time, like looking back, like what's something that you're able to like anchor yourself to like keep going?
just come and sit with me. It's easier. Sit and have a cup of tea and have a yarn, and then you work out where you're going to.
Mm.
You know, if you need to face your fear,
Mm-hmm.
we'll build a little gunya for you. I used to sleep overnight in that gunya. The gunya is like a little house like that.
Mm-hmm.
You stay there overnight, and you'll be talking to everything, even to a little ants. You'll be talking to that ants. You'll be thinking about is a snake coming through the wall at me, or the wild dogs, or a dingo. You know, dingo's all right. It's wild dogs you got to worry about,
Mm.
and the pigs.
Mm.
So these are the things that you got to look at. That, but you can overcome them because you're not only sitting in that gunya, you got a big fire right in front of you. I don't let you freeze to death. I want you to keep warm
Mm.
like that. And the connection like that is your mother, the earth itself, is going to protect you, but it needs you to let go of your fear.
Mm.
You know, and your ancestors, they ain't going to just go to sleep. They're going to be with you at all times. Your ancestors, and that's the connection to your family line. And then you say, oh, well, I didn't grow up with my grandfather, my grandmothers. I didn't grow up with them, you know.
Mm.
But, you know, it doesn't hurt you if they're still alive today. Go and call them, say what it was like for you growing up, Granny or grandfather, you know. Can you tell me some of your dreaming stories or that you acknowledge, you know,
Mm.
in a way, you know? Oh, I don't know much about the dreaming, but I don't know much about Aboriginal ways. But this is what my way. I grew up like this on a dairy farm, and we milked cows, and we shared.
Mm.
You know, that's all right. But you respect one another,
Mm-hmm.
and you shared it. So with me, I share what I've got. Even when I'm doing a clothes run to the desert, I take people with me. The women go over there, do their ceremony on the full moon. The boys go this, and then I'm cooking a feed for them. They get to come back here. But 2 days or 3 days before that, I teach them tracking. They get to come back in the night. So just not tracking on the land. You've got stars above,
Mm.
and you got the moon where it comes up in the night, and that's where I'm making a fire in the heath. So when you're walking toward the bush to get painted up and do your ceremonies, as girls and as the boys, look over your shoulder, see the moon coming. And then in the night, you haven't got a torch on your head. You got to walk back into to where I am, and you use your skills. You got to use your night vision of your eyes. You got to use your animal ears, and you got to use your smelling
Mm.
of the animals also. So everything that you've got to adapt backwards, and you smell that fire of the cooking, you know where to come.
Mm.
And I had the girls come that close to where I was, and I called them in because they were just there.
Mm.
And they had to look sideways. That's it. And my fire is not big. My fire is in the ground, dug in.
Mm.
So I don't have to make a big fire.
Mm-hmm.
The boys cheated. They knew where the hill is, and they went over the hill and walked down the road and see the bus, and they walked in.
Mm.
I said, I'll fix you, little fellas. Yeah, so things like that. There's so much to learn about culture, but it's survival. And you got the vision quest. We call it real survival.
Mhm.
You know, and it's good because it's everyday life.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, I think so. I think
Yes, go all night if I keep talking.
Oh well,
Yeah,
I want to say thank you for coming on and sharing a bit
Yeah.
of knowledge to
Yeah.
people, and
yeah,
I know it's been really well received. And I'll put um in the notes with the email with this recording. I'll put in your Instagram,
yeah.
and if people want to get in contact with you, they can reach out on Instagram. Is that right?
The reach on Instagram. Yeah, I'm getting to be a clever fella now. Yeah, clever fella.
So yeah, we'll put that in the email.
Yeah,
And yeah, thank you everyone for being here, and especially Wiruungga, thank you for making the time to come and share some knowledge and share a bit about your life, and everything that you've studied, and all the sacrifice you've made to be where you are right now. It's much appreciated.
yeah.
Thank you.
It's a long journey.
Mm.
I had a long journey, but I had to live in, well, two worlds in a way.
Mm.
I had to live in my flora and fauna world, and I had to live in material world. And it's not easy sometimes. I like to go back into my flora and fauna to live traditional way of thinking, but I've got no choice. I can come back into this other world called the material world and to support my brothers and sisters or my nephews and nieces or whatever words I want to use, but it's a thing that we need to work together. We need to build more bridges. We don't need to burn them no more. Yeah, and I'm going to leave it at that on you.
Thank you.